So like I can uh, read this again. 2 13 in verse 2 it says, "And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And behold, and lo, that man was strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things was trembled that were seen under him." So as you can see, this is the Lord cracking the clouds, man, coming from the heavens. And as we read in verse 2, it talks about him, a wind from the sea. But then in verse 3, it talks about how he's the people trembled that was under him. Show you that sea is not concerning the ocean, the body, the water, where water, living animals. No, this concerning the sky, man. That's why I say in verse 3 that the people trembled that were seen under him. And whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they that burn that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. And that's concerning the laser beams. And this message just not just for anyone. This is concerning the elect, who will hold fast to this report, because this is not something that for everybody to come and believe. You equating laser beams with the Bible. You'll lose a lot of people then. Matter of fact, let's get some on the lasers. Revelation. I mean, not Revelation. I'm thinking about Revelation. It is the revealing, Habakkuk 3:3, it reads, "The Most High came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise." So it said that his glory covered the heavens, meaning the sky was filled with chariots. Especially that fathership, because it talks about how the Lord is going to spread his wings over Basel. So it's going to be a ship hovering over America as well. It says, "And his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power." So it said horns come out of his hands. And when you look up horns, it pretty much says bright beams. And it said out of his hand, because that's the Lord commanding, them lasers to wherever they went. So that's in the scriptures. UFOs and laser beams, yes. That's biblical. And this is all part of that war. This is all part of this climactic scene we're coming upon. Going back to 2 13. In verse 5, it reads, "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven, to subdue that man that came out of the sea." See? So, and show you how monumental a moment that, the return of Yahweh in this moment that we're in. This is going to be the war, the climax of World War III. We're going to have all these nations coming against each other, but they're going to actually come together to fight the Lord, man. It says, "But I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it." See, to show you that this is an aerial thing. Going back to verse 2 once again, and it talks about how a wind came from the sea. The Lord came from that. So this is something that he's seeing that's happening in the sky, man. And that great mountain is that great chariot. It says, "But I would not have seen the regional place wherein the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they that which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight." See? So the Lord gonna put a spirit on them to fight. And you can also read that in matter of fact, let me just get it because I believe I quoted it earlier in Jeremiah 49. I believe that's the same scripture. Jeremiah 49. Right. Jeremiah 49:22. It says, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Bosra. So the Lord is coming to America. It talks about how as the lightning shining from the east to the west. So Yahweh Shai is coming to America, man. In that ship. It says, and at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pains. So as you can see, the mighty men is concerning the military. They're going to be afraid. But as the scripture says, we read in 2 Ezra 13 chapter, it said, yet they durst fight, because that's for prophecy. They ain't got no choice. You know, like a wounded animal, he's hurt. But he in that corner, he ain't got no choice but to fight. You got to call tooth and nail, you know. It says, and as I saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only as I saw the scent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lip a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And this is him commanding. It's not like the Lord, you got a beam, some Dragon Ball Z, you got a beam come out your mouth. No, this is the Lord commanding the chariots, you know, shoot those laser beams to you know, whoever he wanted to shoot it at. It says, and they all mixed together, the blast of the fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon the son of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. And that was a very horrific vision to see. Especially experiencing you. It's like he was there, man, seeing all these damn fighter jets and shit blowing up. He probably seeing guys, you know, fucking escaping from the cockpit. And the chariot still zap them, you know. This is a very dramatic scene that we're about to come upon, man. But this is that war in heaven, you know. And Esau, really, he's outnumbered, he's outmatched, he outweighed, you know. These two different classes. You got the featherweight versus the heavyweight. It's really not no comp, man. It's not gonna be no fight. Let's see, let's get this. St. Luke, I think it's St. Luke 14. And verse 31, it reads, or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. And that's what Esau, he's not considering that he's really outmatched. You know, you'll hear these reports of a UFO crashing. That's not a thing. That's not the so-called UFO. The chariots are not bound by the realm of this world. The so-called UFO, the chariots don't have to gas up, put oil in, you know what I mean? The chariots don't got an alternator or whatever these vehicles are, especially these military vehicles have. As far as I see, the scripture talk about how this devil's, the Egyptians, their horse is flesh and not spirit, man. So this devil, he's really outmatched and outnumbered, outweighed, outclassed. He's just on all levels. What's that, Psalm 68? We can end off on this. Psalms chapter 68. And 68 verse 17, it reads, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. See? And that's the heaven's host, man. So that 20,000 is talking about them chariots, man. This devil think he got a strong army. Wait till the heaven's host come, man, and we're gonna we're gonna see what Ezra's seeing. The results is nothing but dust and smell of smoke. That's the war in heaven. These so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Most High, ultimately really destroying, the armies of the earth. This devil, his fighter jets, and So yeah, I just hope that we edify, like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that's teaching his word now, true faith and sincerity. Shalom.